747-400 by the 1st of January, 2021, instead of 2020 due to delivery delays for the new wide-body twin jets. The global COVID-19 pandemic hastened the retirement of many remaining passenger Boeing 747-400s due to a sharp decline in passenger traffic. For instance, KLM retired its Boeing 747-400 Combi and passenger fleets in March 2020. Qantas announced the retirement of its 747-400 and 747-400 fleet by the end of 2020, with the Boeing 787-9 Dreamliner taking its place. China Airlines also announced that they will be retiring their remaining 4 passenger Boeing 747-400s by the end of 2020 due to the COVID-19 pandemic, which were delivered between 2004 and 2005, operating on flights within Asia, with the Airbus A350-900 and Boeing 777-300 taking over all high-volume routes and all Asian international routes. However, China Airlines didn't retire its last passenger Boeing 747-400 until February 2021. British Airways retired its remaining 31 Boeing 747-400s 4 years ahead of the original February 2024 deadline. Virgin Atlantic also retired their remaining leisure fleet 747-400s in May 2020, citing the COVID-19 pandemic. The fleet was due to retire in 2021. As of September 2021, there were just 42 passenger 747-400 in operation, 10 actively flying, 32 in storage, across 10 carriers worldwide. Lufthansa and Air China had plans to resume flying some of their stored aircraft by October 2021. On the 29th of April 2022, Air India retired its remaining 747-400 planes in its fleet, after the Directorate General of Civil Aviation deregistered them. In March 2024, Asian Airlines announced to retire their sole remaining 747-400, leaving Air China as the last scheduled passenger operator in Asia. Design, edit. The 747-400's airframe features extended and lighter wings than the previous 747s, capped by winglets. The winglets result in a 3% increase in long-range cruise, improved takeoff performance, and higher cruise altitudes. The extended wingspan also gains an additional leading-edge flap section. When unfurnished, the basic 747-400 fuselage is lighter than preceding models, but when fitted out it is heavier and stronger than previous models. The landing gear uses the same configuration as the previous 747s, but with carbon brakes replacing the previous steel ones, and overall weight savings of 1,800 pounds, 820 kilograms. The 747-400's glass cockpit features CRT displays which show flight instrumentation along with engine indication and crew alerting system, ACUS, diagnostics. The flight engineer station on the previous 747s is no longer installed, and the new displays and simplified layout results in a 2/3 reduction of switches, lights, and gauges versus the classic 747. Other new systems include an advanced Honeywell Flight Management Computer, FMC, which assists pilots in calculating optimal altitudes and routes, along with a Rockwell Collins Central Maintenance Computer, CMC, which automates troubleshooting tasks. The redesigned 747-400 interior features new cabin sidewalls, heat-resistant phenolic glass and carbon composite paneling, and larger storage bins. An enhanced in-flight entertainment framework, called the Advanced Cabin Entertainment Forward/Service System, ACES, debuted on the 747-400, which integrates 18-channel audio capability for passenger intercom announcement zones, inter-cabin telephones, and passenger lighting into a central system. An 8-bunk overhead crew rest is installed above the aft cabin, while a second crew rest area is located on the upper deck behind the cockpit for flight crew use. The last few 747-400s delivered feature the Boeing signature interior, derived from the Boeing 777. 1. Qantas 747-400 main deck economy class cabin. 2. Cathay Pacific 747-400 upper deck business class. 3. Delta Airlines 747-400 main deck business elite cabin. Variants, edit. 747-400, edit. The original variant of the redesigned 747, the 747-400 debuted an increased wingspan, winglets, revised engines, and a glass cockpit which removed the need for a flight engineer. The type also featured the stretched upper deck, SUD, introduced with the 747-300. The passenger model formed the bulk of 747-400s sold, and 442 were built. In 1989, the Qantas 747-400 VHOJA flew non-stop from London Heathrow to Sydney, a distance of 18,001 kilometres, 11,185 mi, in 20 hours and 9 minutes to set a commercial aircraft world distance record. As of 2014, this is the fastest heavyweight flight between London and Sydney. This was a delivery flight with no commercial passengers or freight on board. During testing, the first 747-400 built also set a world record for the heaviest airliner takeoff on the 27th of June, 1988, on a flight to simulate heavyweight stalls. The aircraft had a takeoff weight of 892,450 pounds. 404,810 kilograms, and in order to satisfy Federation Aeronautic International regulations, climbed to a height of 6,562 feet, 2,000 m. On the 9th of February, 2020, a British Airways Boeing 747-400 broke the New York-London subsonic airliner speed record in 4 hours 56 minutes, pushed by the powerful jet stream linked to Storm Kira. 747-400F, edit. The 747-400F, freighter, is an all-freight version of the 747-400. While using the updated systems and wing design of the passenger versions, it features the original short upper deck found on the classic 747s to reduce weight. The 747-400F has a maximum takeoff weight of 875,000 pounds, 397,000 kilograms, and a maximum payload of 274,100 pounds, 124,000 kilograms. The -400F can be easily distinguished from the passenger-400 by its shorter upper deck hump and lack of windows along the main deck. The model's first flight was on the 4th of May, 1993, and entered service with Cargolux on the 17th of November, 1993. Other major customers included Atlas Air, China Airlines, Korean Air, Nippon Cargo Airlines and Singapore Airlines. The 747-400F has a main deck nose door and a mechanized cargo handling system. The nose door swings up so that pallets or containers up to 40 feet, 12 m, can be loaded straight in on motor-driven rollers. An optional main deck side cargo door, like the 747-400M Combi, allows loading of dimensionally taller cargo modules. A lower deck, belly, side door allows loading of unit load devices, ULD, up to 163 centimeters in height. Boeing delivered 126 Boeing 747-400F aircraft with no unfilled orders as of November 2009. The last -400F was delivered to Nippon Cargo Airlines on the 2nd of August 2008. 747-400M, edit. The 747-400M, a passenger forward/freight or Combi variant originally designated as 747-400BC, first flew on the 30th of June, 1989, and entered service with KLM on the 12th of September, 1989. Based on the successful Combi versions of the classic 747S, the 747-400M has a large cargo door fitted to the rear of the fuselage for freight loading to the aft main deck cargo hold. A locked partition separates the cargo area from the forward passenger cabin, and the -400M also features additional fire protection, a strengthened main deck floor, a roller conveyor system, and passenger-to-cargo conversion equipment. The last 747-400M was delivered to KLM on the 10th of April, 2002. Boeing sold 61 747-400M aircraft, which was similar to earlier 747 Combi versions, 78 747-200M, 21 747-300M. KLM was the last commercial 747-400M operator. KLM initially planned to retire their 747-400M by the 1st of January, 2021. However, the Boeing 747-400M was instead retired by the 27th of March, 2020, as Air France-KLM announced in early March 2020 to retire all remaining passenger Boeing 747-400s of KLM, including all KLM Boeing 747-400M aircraft, immediately due to reduced air travel demand caused by the COVID-19 pandemic, although, due to a global shortage in air cargo capacity, 3 KLM 747-400MS were temporarily reactivated after just a week to operate. Cargo-only flights to Asia. As of 2024, Air Atlanta Icelandic, an Icelandic cargo and charter passenger airline, operates one Boeing 747-400M. 747-400D, edit. The 747-400D, domestic, is a high-density seating model developed for short-haul, high-volume domestic Japanese flights, serving the same role as the prior Boeing 747SR domestic model. This model is capable of seating a maximum of 568 passengers in a two-class configuration or 660 passengers in a single-class configuration. The -400D lacks the wingtip extensions and winglets included on other variants. Winglets would provide minimal benefits on short-haul routes while adding extra weight and cost. The -400D may be converted to the long-range version if needed. The 747-400D can be distinguished from the otherwise similar-looking 747-300 by the extra windows on the upper deck. These allow for extra seating at the rear of the upper deck, where a galley would normally be situated on longer flights. In total, 19 of the type were built, with the last example delivered to All Nippon Airways on the 11th of February, 1996. This variant was retired when ANA retired its last 747-400D on the 31st of March, 2014. 747-400, edit. The 747-400 extended range was launched on the 28th of November 2000, following an order by Qantas for 6 aircraft. The model was commonly referred to as the 910K, signifying its maximum weight achieved via structural modifications and modified landing gear. The 747-400 included the option of 1 or 2 additional 3,240 US gal, 12,300 L, body fuel tanks in the forward cargo hold, but Qantas only ordered the single body tank configuration, and no airplanes were delivered with 2 body fuel tanks. Manufactured by Marshall Aerospace, the tanks utilized metal-to-metal honeycomb bonded technology to achieve a high fuel volume to dry weight ratio. The tanks featured a double wall and an integrated venting system, and achieved fuel control via a modified Fuel System Management Card, FSMC, which optimized fuel transfer into the center wing tank, CWT, in flight, along with fuel transfer from the horizontal stabilizer tank, HST. The tank was removable using tooling that interfaced with the cargo loading system. Similar technology had been used by Marshall in the development of body fuel tanks for the Boeing 777-200LR and Boeing P-8 Poseidon. Other changes to the 747-400 included the relocation of oxygen system components and the potable water system tanks and pumps, because the body fuel tanks prevent access to the standard locations. The first 747-400 was used as a test flight airplane and painted in Boeing colors, with registration N747. Qantas received the first delivery of a 747-400 registration VHOEF on the 31st of October, 2002, although it was the second airplane built. The flight test airplane was later refurbished, repainted in standard Qantas livery, and registered as VHOE. Qantas was the only customer for the passenger version of the 747-400, chosen by the airline to allow for 4 loads between Melbourne and Los Angeles, particularly in the western direction. The 747-400 could fly 500 miles, 800 kilometers, farther, or carry 15,000 pound, 6,800 kilograms, more payload than the -400. In May 2018, Qantas announced that it would retire the whole of its 747 fleet by 2020, including all 747-400s. 747-400 ERF, edit. The 747-400 ERF, extended range freighter, is the freight version of the -400, launched on the 30th of April, 2001. The 747-400 ERF is similar to the 747-400F, except for increased gross weight capability which allows it to carry more payload. Unlike the 747-400, no customers ordered the optional body, cargo compartment, fuel tanks, which reflects the desire to carry more cargo, not fuel, as the benefit of the improved payload rating. The 747-400 ERF has a maximum takeoff weight of 910,000 pounds, 412,769 kilograms, and a maximum payload of 248,600 pounds, 112,760 kilograms. It offers cargo airlines the choice of either adding 22,000 pounds, 10,000 kilograms, more payload than other 747-400 freighter variants, or adding 525 nautical miles, 972 kilometers, 604 mi, to the maximum range. The -400 ERF has a range of 5,700 miles, 9,200 kilometers, with maximum payload, about 326 miles, 525 kilometers, farther than the standard 747-400 freighter, and has a strengthened fuselage, landing gear, and parts of its wing, along with new, larger tires. The first -400 ERF was delivered to Air France, via ILFC, on the 17th of October, 2002. Boeing has delivered 40 Boeing 747-400 ERFs with no outstanding orders. The new 747-8 freighter has more payload capacity, but less range than the 747-400 ERF when both are at maximum takeoff weight. 747-400 Boeing converted freighter, edit. The 747-400 BCF, Boeing converted freighter, formerly known as the 747-400 SF, special freighter, is a conversion program for standard passenger 747-400S. The project was launched in 2004 with conversions by approved contractors such as HAECO, Cal Aerospace and SEA Engineering Company. The first Boeing 747-400 BCF was redelivered to Cathay Pacific Cargo and entered service on the 20th of December, 2005. Cathay retired the 747-400 BCF in 2017 after 11 years of service. The 747-400 BDSF, BDEC Special Freighter, is another passenger-to-freighter conversion, carried out by Israel Aerospace Industries, IAI. The first 747-400 BDSF was redelivered to Air China Cargo in August 2006. Several Boeing 747-400 MS of Viva Air have been converted as BDSF model after retiring from passenger service. Neither the 747-400 BCF or the 747-400 BDSF has a nose cargo door. Freight can only be loaded through the side cargo door. The demand for converted 747-400 freighters declined in the early 2010s, due to the availability of belly cargo capacity on more efficient passenger wide-body twin jets, and new orders for Boeing 747-8F and 777F freighters. Approximately 79 747-400 aircraft were converted before the programs were terminated. 50 of these converted aircraft were 747-400 BCF, with the remaining 29 being 747-400 BDSF. Boeing announced the end of their conversion program in 2016. Although conversions had ceased years earlier with no orders after 2012. Some converted freighters, that had been retired to desert storage, were returned to active service due to the increase in demand for air cargo capacity in the 2020 to 2021 COVID-19 era. 747 Large Cargo Freighter, edit. Main article, Boeing Dreamlifter. Boeing announced in October 2003 that, because of the amount of time involved with marine shipping, air transport would be the primary method of transporting parts for the Boeing 787 Dreamliner. Used passenger 747-400 aircraft have been converted into an outsize, large cargo freighter, LCF, configuration to ferry subassemblies to Everett, Washington for final assembly. The LCF has a bulging fuselage similar to that of the Aerospace Line Super Guppy or Airbus Beluga cargo aircraft. The conversion, designed by Boeing engineers from Puget Sound, Moscow and Canoga Park, Cal, and Gamesa Aeronautica in Spain, was carried out in Taiwan by a subsidiary of the Evergreen Group. Boeing purchased 4 second-hand aircraft and had them all converted. The fourth and final LCF took its first flight in January 2010. Delivery times are as low as 1 day using the 747 LCF, compared to up to 30 days for deliveries by ship. The LCF can hold 3 times the volume of a 747-400F freighter and had the largest cargo hold of any aircraft, until it was surpassed by the Airbus Beluga XL. The LCF is not a Boeing production model and has not been offered for sale to any customers. The LCFs are intended for Boeing's exclusive use. Government, military and other variants, edit. 1C-33, proposed U.S. military transport version of the 747-400F, intended as an alternative to further purchases of the McDonnell Douglas C-17 Globemaster III during the 1990s Non-Developmental Airlift Aircraft, NDAA, program. The C-33 cost less and had greater range, although it could not use austere runways or handle outsize military equipment and had a higher expected operating cost. The plan was cancelled in favor of the purchase of more C-17s. In the early 2000s, an Air Power Australia analysis deck, an independent think tank not affiliated with the RAF or Australia's Department of Defence, looked at modifying the 747-400 platform for use as KC-33 tankers but ultimately abandoned it in favor of the 767-based tanker. 2YAL-1, airborne laser carrier based on a 747-400F for the United States Air Force. The aircraft was heavily modified to carry a nose-mounted turret and chemical oxygen iodine laser (COIL) equipment in order to destroy intercontinental ballistic missiles. The aircraft was retired in 2012 after cancellation of the program funding. 3 Cosmic Girl, a former Virgin Atlantic 747-400 named Cosmic Girl, is used by Virgin Galactic as the Air Launch-to-Orbit launcher for Launcher 1, an orbital rocket. 4 Evergreen 747 supertanker. Global Supertankers has converted an ex-Japan Airlines 747-400 BCF for use as an airborne firefighter, serving as the second-generation 747 supertanker. The converted water bomber carries 19,600 US gallons, 74,190 L, of water or chemical fire retardant in 8 pressurized tanks. The United States Forest Service was considering the use of this aircraft in 2017. Global Supertanker received FAA certification the 12th of September 2016. Operators, edit. See also, list of Boeing 747 operators. Current operators, edit. As of March 2024, there were 17 passenger and 213 cargo versions of the 747-400 in operation worldwide. The passenger operators are Lufthansa, 8, Rossiya Airlines, 5, Air China, 3, and Mahan Air, 1. As of August 2018, the largest cargo variant operators were Atlas Air, 35, Calita Air, 24, and Cargolix, 16. Deliveries, edit. This section does not cite any sources. Please help improve this section by adding citations to reliable sources. Unsourced material may be challenged and removed. February 2022, learn how and when to remove this message. Type total 2009, 2008, 2007, 2006, 2005, 2004, 2003, 2002, 2001, 2019, 99, 1998, 1997, 1996, 1995, 1994, 1993, 1992, 1991, 1990, 1989. 747 to 400 442 236 5 19 9 34 43 30 18 16 32 42 47 48 54 34 747-400 D19 21682 747-400 633 747-400 ERF 466862543 747-400 F126 288897 15 12 15